Hello, welcome to Sunday's Best 3 Minutes, where we take one big idea from Sunday's message and we deliver it to you in a portable package. Well, this week we're wrapping up our Finding Forgiveness series with your questions. Email them to me over the course of the week. And a number of questions had the same common thread, basically saying this: how do I forgive or reconcile with someone who refuses to acknowledge wrongdoing and continues to do damage? Well, there's a couple things that are important for us to distinguish as we talk about forgiveness. One is that forgiveness does not equal reconciliation, right? Forgiveness means unhooking internally, not counting someone's debt against you in a deeply personal sort of a way. On the other hand, reconciliation requires restoration of relationship. It takes two people to do that, and sometimes the other person isn't willing to do that. And sometimes the other person isn't safe or healthy enough to do that, and you shouldn't even try. A friend of mine sent me a link to an article recently entitled, "When a Christian Meets a Sociopath." And she was arguing that the Christian emphasis on reconciliation often empowers unhealthy people, narcissistic people, or people with sociopathic tendencies, to give them the power to continue to control or manipulate other people. For a small percentage of the people and relationships that you're in, the key word is not going to be reconciliation, but boundaries. And the goal of those boundaries is to make sure the unhealthy person doesn't have the power in the relationship to establish the dynamics in the relationships. Now, of course, sometimes people try to blow through those boundaries, and sometimes we foolishly let them down because the other person pleads and pleads and we let them in. But learning how to create and maintain healthy boundaries is critical when you're hanging out with unhealthy people. Now, there's another kind of turn in all this, and that is that the scriptures require for all of us that we do the hard work of forgiveness. That's just essential for our emotional and spiritual health. But reconciliation after forgiveness is a case-by-case sort of situational scenario. Now, another key equation swirling around forgiveness is this one: that forgiveness does not equal no consequences. So, for example, if your high schooler lies to you, you can forgive her and still ground her for the rest of the school year or for the next 2 or 3 school years, whatever you feel comfortable with. If someone steals your car, you could forgive them but still press charges so they can't steal your neighbor's car. See, one of our internal hang-ups with sort of forgiveness is it feels like we're letting the other person off the hook. And in one sense, we are. We're letting them off the hook over the damage they've done to us in a deeply personal and internal kind of a way. But in another sense, many of the situations we're in have natural consequences, that there's natural consequences to the actions the person has done. And we can either pursue or not pursue those consequences based on a case-by-case, situation-specific sort of situation. So, we can forgive and pursue consequences, and if we do that, we're doing that in a place of wisdom, of settledness, of kind of clarity, not just anger, retaliation, and vengeance. Well, thanks so much for joining us. This is we kicked off Sunday's Best 3 Minutes with a series called Finding Forgiveness. If you've missed our messages, any of the messages, you can go to our new YouTube channel. Just search Sunday's Best 3 Minutes on YouTube, and that will come up. See you next week as we kick off a brand new series called Creed, drilling down to what Christians have believed for centuries. And thanks so much for joining us this week on Sunday's Best 3